Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Everywhere also and a day on the face of this planet. We don't come back today. Another social media review. Unfortunately, we lead host Her Excellency, the very ladyship, Madam Fadima, get some emergency, so you know go able to come, unfortunately. But I want to assure us say wherever it follow, even as they address the emergency by God power. And if you get way for help, we for law navigate this year, we'll do that. With me today, now one of the best attorneys them working together na Mio Okuboda, Alpha Mohammed Shilon, Mio man, when I'm your mentor now, we tell God thank you for your life here in family. This man, the mere father, every Sunday in the Canada, imagine on a lawyer, they can't sit on there. This is more than a sacrifice for a give, but Alhamdulillah. This is the Canadian call this. We get Boku Kuchine what they discuss. So what do they can do? They can go, Mr. Shilon, open up by telling we people them what do they discuss today. Give me the lead story now. Open up.
Hello. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever on a day. Thanks that we are able to stay alive and meeting again today. So we hope again, as usual, everybody we can listen to we understand the format or the way we can present this program. Is a what we call participatory broadcasting. We the host will get people what they call live, and then they ask questions live, and then we go try to answer them live. And so I would give everybody, every caller, they get at least 3 minutes, 15 seconds for call and express themselves or ask questions. So we strongly encourage people them when they call for get to the issue right away, so we're not gonna get them for cut them off. Because sometimes some people can get so long, they never stay within the 3 minutes, 15 seconds time limits. So we can get for cut them off because many times we get a lot of callers them on the other line. So please just remember. The other thing we encourage people to do, if you get television or radio or something playing in the back, when you call, cut that low or cut them off, because if that is playing in the background where you want to talk to it echo. So the transmission not going to be good. So we strongly encourage you now, when you call, make sure you not get radio or TV or music in the background will go affect the reception. So that said, we get if one more thing, the callers, when we're not familiar with the numbers then for call, we'll get a toll-free line of 1-866-944-7722, and we get a UK number when plus 44 203 239 9581. I repeat, plus 44 203 239 9581. If you're calling from Australia, the number is plus 61 280 064 352. Plus 61 280 064 352. And if you're calling on WhatsApp, then you call 1-343 997 5828. 343 997 5828. So please, you guys feel free, even in the call as soon as the program starts. If you get questions in the beginning, there is no time. The lines will be open as soon as possible, so when our calls can be able to come in. Today we get a few topics that we want to discuss. The leading topic, that of the main topic in the country right now, concerning the suspension of the Auditor General, Ms. Pearce, Taylor-Pearce, Lara Taylor-Pearce. So this has become an international issue. It has become a highly political issue. And so today we will go for discuss the ramification, which means the effect, where the suspension could cause in terms of international reputation, and the appearance way suspending the Auditor General go how the country go reflect. Then one. Two, we'll also touch on the social ramification, meaning the effect socially, morally, what effect does that have when a highly reliable, a highly dependable, a highly efficient civil servant with an assistant are just impromptu suspended. Then the last but not least, I would like to give some legal opinion about the appropriateness or inappropriateness and the awkwardness and the vagueness of the Constitution, which has led to all of this, and how, what you mean suggestion, how things should be taken care of legally. Thank you very much. So, Professor, I pass it back to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Salone, for highlighting NTR. So, what me believe say we for the who for do. We need to understand say we are a society supposedly of laws, and they use the word supposedly of laws, and we need to understand say the Taylor-Pearce saga, unprecedented, unique in that sense. It don't be. If you ask if any precedent did to this, I can tell you, that place where is also he replace somebody with a fire. If you suspend the person in fire, it take the place. The question I had though, we for the grapple with whether it appropriate to, appropriate to, here's what they do. Is there any recourse to this? When the government take this action, yeah, so ask them for a step aside. Like I say, there is precedent to this. Timbo, when I be education minister for that right saga, then we suspend them. Why say they investigate this matter so? But nobody make qualms about that. The question is, why is it now when Miss Pierce this kind of a noise around? Why people want to transmogrify Miss Pierce to this kind of a kind of demigod status? Why want to make up an exception? That's where I really concerned. I'm concerned that I want to let everybody understand, and I shall say you go back me on this. You need a lawyer go back me on this. In law, there are certain they call you where they allege now you get for proof. I'm not saying you go support me on that. So are they on a firm grounds on that, or they get what they call preponderance of evidence. And the preponderance of evidence now in law, not to Lara Pierce, not to get that bottom of proof, not to get the bottom of proof at all. Not. As far as we concerned, we will believe in the rule of law. We will believe in the applicable principles of the natural law and concept of justice. We will believe in. I should say, Mr. Shilo, you believe in justice. Also, you believe in anything. Miss Pierce, as far as we concerned, is innocent of the charges they are so until they prove I'm guilty beyond all reasonable doubt. So with that kind of a foundation there, where we believe in, especially we were there, where they oversee everywhere, where they are the Western industrialized democracies. I want to appeal to everybody now hold on to that a maxim say, Miss Pierce not guilty of this offense here until he go through all the legal channel and the government not put it in place. Until the government come back or the committee where they set up come back with a report, they go and advise them, everybody hold back, everybody say, no, exacerbate the detention. Because now all they talk say the country, they in I won't call it they in haste, the country they go through this, they go through that. So we don't find the embers of discord in the country. We know how for tribalize this thing so. We know how for regionalize them. Let we understand say Lara-Pearce na a civil servant where it being governed by the code where they did. So me your submission I go be let everybody take a big bed, let's sit on back. Let let he accept the fact say Lara not guilty of this offense until he meet all the crucibles of the judicial process. Only then we go begin take a position on it. Back to you, Mr. Shilon, for what you go add to this, sir. You mute.
We are not talking about guilt or innocence, Naya. So I just want to modify some of what the professor said. We are talking strictly in terms of performance in office or job performance. And so it's not an offense as yet of what she's been alleged to have done or not to have done. If I may step backwards, Taylor-Pearce may not have been the first, but when we cannot make it the normal thing that every government for come, because there are things what governments then they do, what we for no say wrong. First of all, then they pass laws were convenient for the party in power at the time. So number one, that is just a bad idea. Number two, that is an indication of the government themselves, they don't understand the principles of governing. Because you don't make laws where for suit your convenience and a group of people within your ambit. When you do that, you are not taking the interest of the country at heart. You are not looking at the totality of the situation. You're making laws to get undue advantage, not even an advantage where you not deserve, just for benefit you. And this is very short-sighted. And we get into this habit. Because if we make laws where we think, say, generally good for the country, which is the only way for Luca, not to wishing good for a political party in power, now we can come out a whole lot better. Because let's remember, we don't want to stray too much. These political parties then go out there, then they campaign, say they not only go do better than the existing party in power, they claim they have what it takes to run a government. It's not different from somebody where they get a driver's license, he claims he can drive a bus as efficiently as anybody else because he can drive, he get driver's license. He apply for the job. And call him for interview. The man say, you get any experience for driving? No, but I know, when I go driving school, then teach me everything. I know how to do it. Just give me the job no more. Well, you manage to convince the person where the interview you, give you the job. You not get no excuse where you begin run over things, you begin hit the curves them, you begin hit people them, you say, oh, well, I not know how to drive bus, although I get driver's license. This is what we're doing to people. These guys come with all kind of lofty. Well, first of all, they come with all kind of extreme condemnation of the party in power. They take advantage of the democratic process, freedom of speech, campaign against the existing government, opposition, all of which is permissible. They condemn everything what the other one they do for say they are not doing anything right at all. We can do better. We know what you for do. So there is no excuse when you come. Number one, own a kind of power, we don't give another opportunity there. When I begin to do the same thing when I be the condemn of the outgoing government. But not only that, when I go steps further for do worse than waiting when I be the condemn of the other government. And then when I accuse you of wrongdoing, when I say, well, the other guy with the drum. What kind of mentality is that? how does that qualify you? So are we saying two rights make a wrong?
You under?
If somebody
Let's
do
punctuate you
something,
under, Mr. Shilon. Let's stop you right here. Let's
go
bring
ahead.
in another thing. Look, we always don't talk about this, like your coin is two wrong story make one wrong. Not to because, you may not do this, you don't do. Now, what thing our Lord do, Mr. Shilon, I know our Lord spend inordinate amount of time they talk about this problem here, about this. Because what thing happen so, now the symptoms and here you they talk about now so, wait, they mean so. So, waiting wait for happen now in the root cause. So, in we don't consider judgment and carried opinion, especially me and you, within that, but more so you being a lawyer, within this kind of place here, we see how things work, how society they move from the boulevard of progress to the avenue of success. How we go try for create a climate, a political climate, where go take into account the importance of green, white, and blue. Green, white, and blue as opposed to solid green or solid red. How we get ourselves out of this so that the sovereign nation of Salone go there on a better trajectory in terms of governance. Now, this I want to actually postulate that today because this, like I say, all the take parties and dimension. And we'll try this until Osama bin Laden come back for be president of the United States. It's not taking us nowhere. So what do they do now? If they begin to come up with solutions, then, for example, with parliament, we have to look at parliament because our parliament we get a building, but we don't get parliamentarians. Then. Host of infractions or principles and not take place at Salone. When they expect, say, hey, wait a minute, where's the parliament? The parliament is nowhere. They are meeting in action, and if I may go even go for say they are complicit in the sheer mismanagement of the fabric of society. So I want to come in now again to tell me waiting at the way forward out of this existential quagmire where they find themselves. Come in with that.
Okay. Now, part of what you have to say earlier was also the cause, not only the symptom, but the cause. The cause is bad or wrong intention or ulterior motives in legislating laws in the country, because then they come with the intention of making laws that will withstand the test of time. We know they approach making laws in that sense there. For say, let will make, just like out today, America, England, they can go back, then go cite cases of 100 and some years ago, still good law. We know they do that. We own law now for make them just for suit we. I hate for use harsh words, but to me that borders on stupidity and selfishness. Okay, because if the nation don't entrust the drafting of a constitution or legislation or executive orders, or regulation, people entrust we, they feel say we don't land, they refer to we kind like as bookman. So it's a colossal failure where we they go write laws them, where they do a tremendous disservice to the country. So again, the cause is because this program to me I see it as a process to educate people. So we can be able to move people from this partisan way of looking at things, from this tribal way of looking at things. Because I keep insisting that to run the government of Sierra Leone is not, we all know say Sierra Leone gets 16, 17 tribes. Anybody with kind of power should have experts on his team or her team for to figure out how you could be a good president for all the people, for all the tribes. So when you enter government, these are all causes I'm talking about. When you enter government with the belief that now one tribe put you there, or when you enter government that you feel so insecure that you think say 16 tribes not like you, now one tribe no more care for you. you're starting with the wrong premise to begin with. Because had you campaigned under that, you will not be president. That's easy to test. If you're not Timini, you're not Limba, you're not local, go out there and campaign. Say, well, you put me in power. I go look out for just the Limba them. And see, even some sensible Limba people have then go vote for you. Then go say, who's command this? So we educate. We say we educate because sometimes you begin to wonder if education are just the academic paper on a wall. Because on Monday, when they talk about the education, when they open the mouth, you wonder, say, well, hey, I mean, I'm not sure this guy in a bye-bye in paper or how we get this big degree. So that's my point. That the law will talk about suspension of the Auditor General, regardless of who's president that one before. If an honest commander is just as wrong. So, and in fact, okay, let me digress. I am not blaming President Bio whatsoever. He's just taking advantage of the law as it is. Not to write the law, not to make up. This is a law whether they're in effect before he can have power. But this is the trouble about making bad laws. Okay? Now, they use them as an instrumentality for whatever purpose. Because if in America, yeah, that drafting day of that law day, that section day, other than the section we talk about, there shall be an office of the Auditor General, which should have been the only thing in the Constitution. Everything else about the Auditor General in the Constitution is bad law because those should have been under statutory codification. That is not constitutional. That's statutory law. Now, Parliament for all the subsections in the world and they argue. That was the job for Parliament. The only thing should have been there shall be an office of the Auditor General. And maybe one step further. And the Auditor General shall be appointed or nominated by the President. Generality. But the details with respect to length of time that the person serves, conditions under which the person serves, all that should not be in a constitution. The constitution is not meant like that. A constitution should not be written like that. So to start with, the constitution is badly, poorly, miserably written. I can tell everybody, and I'm not a constitutional lawyer, but I know enough to know, say, the so-called folks that will put that together, I will define that everything beyond what I just tell you now as poor draftsmanship. You know, because that was written by people who are not constitutional scholars, who don't know what they were doing. Two, that if you read the section we talk about firing or suspending the Auditor General. If you go back and read it, I was looking for the terms for the quotes, and I make a read them. He said anybody within the purview or the control on the office of the president, you know, that power there, even though it's delegated, even though the power is vested in the president, is delegated to anybody working for the president. So go back and read the law. The law does not even say with the consent of the president, with the advice of the president, with the authority of the president. Just say it is vested in the president and anybody who, so that the power is delegated to that person. So anybody which in the president in purview can write that letter there to the Auditor General. They get the power. They don't need to take the president in permission. The president doesn't even need to know the way the law is written. So, bad law. I'm saying it over and over. They need to go revisit them. Because, like Mr. Kutubu said, Taylor-Pearce is not the issue. The country and the office are the issue. So, and there are certain offices in the country where we need to understand, they need people of impeccable character for all them. The Electoral Commission head, for being a person of impeccable character, you cannot allow yourself to be swayed by political ideology or preference. The ACC commissioner, an office that I think is irrelevant, is useless, is unnecessary, but it is there. It is what it is. The president should not be able to have authority over that person there. It should be enough to be able to fire him once he nominates him. The person, the ACC commissioner, forgets specific terms, and if he do good job, he can be recommended, and Parliament name for confirm him. I just try for showing that the problems they would run into, how we say they mess things up for ourselves. Okay, the office of the Chief Justice and the office of judges in general, president should not be able to fire them. Once you appoint them, once they're confirmed, they should be able to operate freely. The office of the Attorney General. But Dr. Abdullahi Conte, he put the office of the Attorney General and make it a political office by making it part of the cabinet. That's a bad public policy. That's bad policy. So there are lots of things were wrong with the system when that we need for deal with. Then if we can correct them in the if we could begin to make laws looking beyond look like it be a good foundation for picking them, or grand-picking them, or great-grand-picking them for generations years on board, we'll be doing the country a great service. And then the worst thing, anybody where they make laws for give one tribe advantage over the other, I call that lunacy. I call that craziness. I call that you are a danger to the very country. Because when you corrupt the legal system, which is supposed to protect you picking them, you grand-picking them, your property, and everybody they behave like for say they sign a lease with God for say that, oh, God said they will live another 80 years. What if you die next month? Well, you don't help for undermine the legal system, where you for help for bill. Because whether you acquire property by corruption or legitimately, you want for be able for make sure say the one way inherit that property day after you, that property is protected. But when you undermine the law, just because you care about yourself, you can't see past yourself. When you die tomorrow, that the law is not there to protect this stolen property or corrupt property where you don't pass to you heirs them. So there are lots of things. We are not talking Taylor-Pearce per se. It's just because she's the symbolic person in the sense that she's the current Auditor General. And one more defect about that law. If you go back, you read the law, then talk about the president can suspend the Auditor General for performance or professional performance. What kind of vagueness is that? In law, then go strike that law just for vagueness. What's in a professional performance? It should be better defined. And you are not going to suspend somebody because of professional performance, because that's the vagueness. You go suspend somebody because of irregularities in the performance of the person in duty. It's not that clearly spelled out. But so if I'm doing a good job, I'm the Auditor General, that's still performance. So the president can just suspend me because of my good performance, because the job doesn't say bad performance. I mean, the law doesn't say so. So when I need to go back and read the law as it is written, it is poorly written, and it is written by those, in America, we call them wannabes. They want to be constitutional expert, which they were not. And the country is paying the price. So now, one final thing. I have seen a lot of analysis from lawyers, from organizations, but where is the judiciary? Isn't when the law is vague, when the law needs interpretation, isn't there a co-equal arm of government that is called the judiciary, where are the only sector of society with the authority to interpret the law? Now everybody is interpreting. The president interprets, in cabinet they interpret, senior lawyers are interpreting, permanent secretaries are interpreting, ambassadors are interpreting. Where do we see things like that? And then the court that should be the main body for try for define and refine this thing is quiet. It's dead. It's non-existent. So I feel for the country. And I feel for the country because you're talking to a Sierra Leonean who's lived a long time abroad. And I still have passion for the country because I know what our potential is. I know once upon a time I was the bastion of progress and civilization in West Africa and the whole of Africa. And I see how far behind we are lagging and we have gotten. And I see the lack of seriousness and determination for us to even try to catch up, to get back in the race. You know, we're engaged in petty politics. The country is being neglected. So it doesn't matter. To me, I always say this. People then need to begin to analyze stuff very, very carefully. When a politician can't own, then begin make all the lofty promises them, then get record. But when you vote for them, when I be prepared for stick with the punishment, because as I always say, I doubt I don't get any confidence in the two top political parties in Sierra Leone. They don't get the capability. They don't get the know-how for running a country, and they are totally lacking in integrity. Both parties, integrity is just missing. It's not even part of their modus operandi. They're not part of the curriculum. Integrity is just out of the window, you know. Because if you're not a person with integrity, why would you be a minister, active minister? You building 2-3 houses. The effrontery, the brazenness, the lack of respect or regard for the people and way you. I mean, are people that stupid that if you're building 2-3 houses, they don't know that's not coming from legitimate earnings? But this is how uncaring our politicians are. And this goes for both parties. You know, APC and SAPP, they are the same coin, two different sides of the same coin. If you take the coin, you put it on head in value, not the same as if you flip them, the value not the change. So until we begin to learn, for probably analyze them politicians here, they all go kind and go make them false promises, then go make this grandstanding, we go fool with self, and then when you know work, we go throw in a little bit of tribalism and sectionalism. We go talk in the world, come up Bombali district, now we all come up Pujeon district, now we all come up Bont district, because they know say people don't go gravitate to that. But we for try for resist that. Try for determine the genuineness of these people, you know? Because the vast majority of them are coming in for themselves. They are not coming for the country. It's a means to an end. You know, they are not coming to serve. They are not coming to help country. They are not coming to uplift the lives of the poor. You know, they see it as a get-rich-quick opportunity. Most of them, you know. So with that said, I pass it back to Professor.
All right, thank you. Well, obviously, we don't, we cannot drum beat this anymore. We don't actually exhaust all the angles of it, because, like I mean, say, the argument will be, yes, we may not have a proper judicial system, but they not set up a body, and like we say, the problem we don't lead you to this now, a law where a so-called constitution where they put together, where make the country Salone not there. You know, get what happen at the party them and the leaders them. Because like they argue this again, the same laws the way they now so were used by Koma for 11 years. And at the same law this man go use go. The next leader where they come, now the same law go use, and at the same thing with the palm. So what we need that for the citizens, you like what happen na Guinea, Mamadou I don't call nothing up say, Dumbuya say. Then go for change, you know, how they call them. What you get for happen? Then go for come up with a structural system foundation where Guinea, not to leader, Guinea, then go be the factor now, not to leader. And that which I need for do. We should not have from January to December till Akile for use this sarcasm say till Osama bin Laden can for be president of the United States. I don't know how many people will help me for make that a possibility for let that happen. But the fact of the matter remains, we need to get a system, structures, laws, and the two things that get for happen for change the narrative in Salone. Adopt these postulations that I don't can go everywhere. Two, We get for accept, agree for be a nation, we stand on the moral foundation of the rule of law. We get for accept that now I make that the exceptionalism this of United States. If you see a day like today, United States don't become a heaven on earth. You get a lot of imperfections in this country also. Make no mistake. But what happen now? Two things they do. After they don't defeat after they get the independence, they defeat King George III at the Battle of Saratoga. They gather the law, they all accept the law, say that they then decide, say, then go be a nation of laws where everybody go submit to a dictates. Everybody from the man where sit down at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue to that guy where they sleep in a bus station now. Anyhow you look at Elena bus station they sleep. That law, you dey under that law dey. You like how that man where they sleep na 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. That same law dey. So until we do this, no matter, not to patriotic, not to economy, because you got bad people there now anyway. But guess what? There are unintended consequences. What they do, they erect a rock of Gibraltar. Now that make now they don't care who that anybody can run for office there. Even they say you know this kind of shaggy, you know the abona, you know the chief man pass anybody, you run for office. But guess what? Hey, you get what they call the rock of Gibraltar. When you can hear that they talk about thank God no day, you go only know say thank God no day until you violate the laws of America. Then you go find out say thank God no day, now one God did it. So let we accept now this for be with your postulations there because it don't make any sense for no the car every day they try to call we they put the climate to blame. Oh where and by Corona they do this. Oh where BO they do this. Oh where John Thompson comes and say no we cannot that's just out of the narrative. We get for demand say we need a structure, a system, a foundation where that's where happen at Wellington. A minister not get for the prime minister not get for the ambassador get for the waiting will get for the systems, the structures, and the foundation for for address that day. Now for the question we get them. No, we don't get them because we get people that we not get they not get the foresight. The collective tragedy we don't befall Salone. From independence to now we make the talk. We not get leaders and we get vision. We not get visionary leaders. What to get now leaders and waiting by expediency, quick fix come to power. The next begin campaign. A leader not say, well, you know what? Me Kutubu, I know they worry whether they elect me. Then they elect me next time or no. I'm not worried about that. Waiting, I promise the people that now they can do. I just said they can do. If they feel say I don't do well, fine. Because what any leader for the other corner, you legacy. America wait about bridges and roads. The person whether they think of Dwight Eisenhower. Wait about roads and bridges is gone long time. It don't go since Babu and Wa. But bridges and roads, which every administration they can do, then they can improve on the bridges and the road. Just when the president not ask for boku money for let them do all they say. The leaders all get, like I said, vision not day. How for kind of power quick. Then the next thing for either you come back or if you get away for remaining. When the leaders say come out, you turn around, nothing no day. Where the cities they go hang up to, nothing no day. Everything are gimmicks quick. Appeal to the calculus of the warehouse of functional illiterates and see of ignoramus system. So now for full them no more than say we need to move away from that narrative. We need. So now so we want to end this topic now. That Eleka will spend all time long was longer. We decide so not go be a nation where grounded on the law and order and we don't submit it. Mr. Shilon, take we first call on the line and see and remind the people that say just 3 minutes. Then again, I remind them of that. Take the call.
Professor, if I can say something very quickly in that regard, and I'll take the call. I just want remind people for say in a well-constituted government, this matter should be in the Supreme Court by now. Groups should have challenged the legality, regardless of how it's written, because they need an interpretation from the Supreme Court. So this matter should be in court. They should be asking for all kind of reliefs. They should be asking for injunction, so the suspension shouldn't take effect. They should challenge the legitimacy of the composition of the Judicial Service Commission. They should challenge the appropriateness and the legality and the constitutionality of the appointment of this tribunal. This is what you do in a constitutional democracy. Constitution is not being practiced in the country, and it's very disappointing. To attack the whole process constitutionally, throw all that burden there, at the feet of the Supreme Court, challenge every aspect of the law, even challenge the fact that Parliament may not have had the power. They over-delegate power to the president or the executive. Let the Supreme Court deal with all of that. But everybody is sitting down, and this is the disappointing part, because people don't know much about how to fight constitutionally, So if they're going to fight, if I were representing Lara-Pearce, we are not going to even subdue to that thing. We'll go challenge the tribunal on constitutional grounds. We'll go through we'll challenge it every step of the way. So when you get the system, because what you'll be doing, this will not be frivolous challenges. You're trying to force the Supreme Court and the country begin to see things, how you go run government appropriately. You're trying to force the judiciary to come back to assume the responsibility where they not abdicate for so long. Because we talk about three arms of government: the legislature, with the parliament, the executive, when the president, and the judiciary. So you get only two parties at play. The third party, when the referee, is absent. You can't run the country that way. The law has a major role here, and we're not seeing any part of it. And when we talk about Supreme Court, we do not want a Supreme Court like the kind where an Eskoroma get with Samsumana. We don't want judges of those caliber. We want judges who will think of the good of the country, who will make good laws, solid laws. I'm just saying this so we can understand. And one more thing, when we do with stuff, how can the president nominate anybody? No background check is made on anybody. With Parliament, they confirm people in mass, in group. That is on seriousness. That is a gross disservice to the country. Then they appoint you for cabinet position, no background check is made. So if you've been convicted, if you've been a wife beater, if you've been all of that, no matter. So how can we expect good from all these people? What kind of parliament? So there's a lot of deficiency in the system. And these are some of the effects, and it will continue. Now, that said, let me take the caller. Hello, caller. Is the caller still on the line? I know.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah,
how
hello.
are you? Yeah, I just want a lot more concerning the Auditor General, the suspension of the Auditor General, right?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Actually, the decision with the suspension and the Auditor General, because we want my name na Aliko.
Okay, Mr. Aliko. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I really happy where they suspend them, but the way I didn't do this thing, because we believe say now the Chief Justice for appoint the judge them wait for set up this tribunal. But if this tribunal then the statement come up from the office of the president, we believe say this thing it not go transparent in a way where it go transparent, because we all see the way as Salone they go right now. The judiciary system, I don't portray how everything don't portray on Salone.
Okay. Mr. Aliko, I can ask you, you say you're happy with them fire or then suspend the Auditor General. You can tell me why you're happy?
Yeah, the reason why I'm happy, as far as they say for misconduct, so they need for check and proper, because we need people where they clean. Now that we want for let them hold any public office.
Okay.
So anybody when we say in hand dirty or in foot dirty, they need for check am.
Okay.
Follow no lane clean fine. Because today, like today, we see how the police system they go. Because what the IG now you get party card, the IG get party card. The judicial system we see how they go. Because what they all get party card. We need people where they control, where the only public office, where they will be say everything for them they clean. And then people and they we want, we're transparent to the country, not to transparent to party. Or either transparent to individual. Now people are transparent to the nation, and that we want for all public office.
Okay, that's
then
fair.
too, I want more towards what Mr. the lawyer what he say towards party the party where they in power. Then try for build up for let them able to stay in power. Then they bring law where be saying get for affect them later. Now just like this cyber crime law where be saying get for affect them later. This SLPP government and get for affect them later. But now they're not going to see. Now where the party in the government change, and then go put on this blame say this party we don't do this party we don't do this. All learning a total mess towards the country. We not go say the party what it done we don't do, then self where they can first and do them. No, our Salone go grow. Lord pull party aside, Lord put the country first.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Aliku.
Thank you.
Your point is your point is well taken. All right. So, thanks for calling.
Yeah, thank you too.
All right. So, Mr. Kutubo, Professor,
Yes.
can we?
Okay. Yeah, we move now. Yeah, because like I say, we don't drum beat this so much. We cannot because we don't accept the fact say waiting actually bad now. The foundation I'm bad. The foundation. Mr. Chino, take the next call and see what's in the person outside the call phone.
All right. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Caller, hello. What's your name? Where you call from?
Yes, sir. This time Ezekiel, I call from Oregon.
Is it Ezekiel?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. Go ahead.
All right, I want to thank you for this program. Una dey on point. The things that we wanna mention here, definitely we get system issues we it really affect the country. Me, the fear is that why I get the country don't become so followership, become like the people be it in the judiciary system, the police, the parliament, now followership now then get to the president. And it really like scare me whether we put new constitution in place if any president will come and abide by that. Now that na me concern. Because if we put everything in place, change constitution and get all the organs then, separate the judiciary, the parliament, and the executive separate. My fear is because the nation is so a small nation, we the party, major two party divided into regional line and tribal line. Definitely, we know say no party, no the way, no they get votes now. All the regions from Sierra Leone, unless the party way they in power make crook now the other place for the other party not get a single vote. But I know say no party, no the way, no they get votes now from all the regions of Sierra Leone. There is no way. All the two major parties they get votes around across Sierra Leone, unless the party way they in power. It go block the other party for letting not get single vote from their own area, like from the north or from the southeast. Now the only reason that they will go see a vote for one of the party from their area then they. But the majority they come on at one side, one region, one tribe, or few tribes. As a result, Then they come in and it's possible, say, even we don't get constitution in place, this ranker possible would they go choose, it will still make a mess of the country. It's so fearful. It's so fearful. It's so fearful. So sometimes I wonder, unless we get somebody, we get love for we people. And this love, I constantly talk every time I participate on any program, because it starts even from the village. I put my village as an example. We area and a paramount chief and the villagers now, then they put Fulamande per land. We get a vast land, bully land. But because the paramount chief and the village, the few villagers, then they go put Fulamande at the land, where the cow then they rip off everywhere. And so most of the young people away they've been there now, we village for those swamp work. It's 10 years now, sir. 10 years. They're not able to do bully land right farm. 10 years. Cows are getting very fatter and fatter. Then they go and break everywhere. They don't give up. So this now love problem now we get now with country. It starts right from the village, even right from the family. One person they do well, we they don't know around. If they happen in not do and defend we now for killer. Love now we meet now with country. I mean contribution.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Professor, I can take one or two more calls.
You get two more? Okay,
Just keep in mind what you want for say. Hello, caller.
Okay.
What's your name and who's you call from?
Good evening, good afternoon, gentlemen. Fadima here, sir. How are they doing? People don't know how to do it.
Always a pleasure for hearing your voice. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I describe for what me much for this issue we'll talk about right now. This continuation about Madam Lara and business. And this Madam Lara and business, there is a problem. And the problem is the way, by the way, we did a protest yesterday. Females of Sierra Leone and in politics come together and do a platform we comprise of many women, Sierra Leone women. We come together from all parties for say, that the political intimidation, the disrespect of our women, the minimalization, the bullying, we are professional women and we're competent enough for doing job. And Lara has had so many, when I say countless, from the Auditor General, International Auditor General, the head of all International Auditor General organization, they don't come out and they don't speak on behalf of this woman in credibility and in consistency. It's constant in what she did do. She is so another change because now APC another change. They do the work according to how the work is supposed to be done. Now the thing in that protest yesterday that was my highlight was Honorable Doctor. I will send the link to the technical team. Let them play a phone in a little bit. Let we hear. I'm gonna let with people then hear Honorable Bernadette Lahai, Dr. Bernadette Lahai, in speech we gave yesterday in that program. It was so beautiful. I had tears. I had goosebumps because this woman just spoke as a Sierra Leonean and not speak as a party politics became. And the way when they do and the procedure, the law is bad, everybody know. And then when the law is bad, then you get a government that is making it worse or using it and abusing it because of ego fit and suit their own agenda. And that is the problem. That is the crying of the fowl that the nation is saying. Because the law says such, the president, blah, blah, blah. But before you serve a person, which they did to Lara and Savam, number one, they're not getting waiting at the reason. Because you're a lawyer, Mr. Shilon. And if somebody gets a case, okay, when you serve them, you tell her what he do, right? But they did not tell this one. They say in misconduct. What is the misconduct? Misconduct about what? Then we had Keke Thomas Sandy sitting on AYV and 98.1 say, well, we don't get for tell her yet because if we tell her, you know, we wait and call, we get for wait, we get for set the tribunal. Whatever, we don't set the tribunal before they do the suspension. And so everything is backwards here, and that is the cry of the Sierra Leonean people, that it is done wrong and we cannot sit there again. This is the only hope, one of the only hopes Sierra Leone gets for build a stronger institution, one of the most credible institutions that is not biased or partial, that the woman is working and doing her job professionally, and we get a government that is going to go harass her. That is the problem. That is the frustration. If Lara does something wrong, Lara will face the consequences. But let us follow the right procedure. And then it looks suspicious at the time when the firing happened, because the Auditor General report supposed to come out right away. The Auditor General report was supposed to come out in 2 weeks. It did not happen. Now they don't come put this cloud over. So everything, Salone people, then are we the miss, now we the lost. This is our money, and we get for all people that accountable how they spend our money. And that's the job of Lara. Lara, they say, okay, we give them people at this money for do X, Y, Z. The money when they give, what it gonna do with them? She holds people accountable. What you want to do with her, I want to do with her. Now that the report is about to come out, we see this. That is the foul that people, anybody with that common sense. Yes, we go say assumption. We don't get 100% proof for say yes, now because of that. But most of the time, you go look and say, oh yeah, come on now. Then we don't see the members of the tribunal, and we really follow some of these people, their integrity, whether they put on the tribunal is questionable. How can she get a fair trial by them kind of people that they wait and waiting and call say, but I not all the line. I don't say other people then go they wait for you. You know, they go on for talk. I will come back again, but I will send the technical team because I want to let the people then listen to Lara Taylor-Pearce, to Madame Bernadette Lahai, because this is a true Sierra Leonean. And Una said, if Una get a clear, open mind without attacking people, when I go hear where this woman they talk, and if self don't go through waiting Lara they go so. So let me let you go. I will call back again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Fadima. We appreciate your call. You know, you're always welcome, even if you know they participate audio-wise or video-wise. So let me. There are more calls. So, but if you want comment, you can go ahead. Then we can take the other calls.
No, take the last one because we take one more and that's it. Then because the other things are what I'm bring up. Yeah, take one more. No, Mr. Shilon, just take one more. Then we are in column. You know, we get a program now for do. Just take that one more. Then we get for wait. Then with another topic. Then he come in. Because think so take one more.
Okay. Hello, caller. What's your name?
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, good evening.
Yes, sir. What's your name? Name, please. Name.
From Moribata and Sierra Leone.
Yes, sir. What's your name?
I named Daniel.
Okay, Daniel. Thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Yeah. In the first place, I want to thank Mr. Kutubu. I'm a young boy coming up, but I don't really admire over the years what they listen audios in programs. I really like that, Mr. Kutubu. Let God continue for God and protect you, because you know the campus where they learn a lot from. You don't get a side. Whosoever the wrong day they hit the. So I like you for that. I like the program and just follow up. As I say, me a fans of Mr. Kutubu in program I can follow up. So I really thank God for opportunity this night for our call. Waiting at the try for highlight here is just like waiting you talk, you already receive the call. I don't know the name, your name. I don't know you now, not true, but you know I know the name.
And then Shilon.
Oh, Mr. Shilon. Okay, Mr. Shilon.
Correct.
You know, I admire you. One of the statements the way you make the favor when they open the line, where you talk say the APC and the SLPP, honestly, they're not good for Sierra Leone. Because in the past previous years, from with great people them, with grandpa and with mama them, now these two parties don't rule this country. And yet still the country not get no progress for make. No progress every day now one cry from another, every day now one cry from another. With this one it can bastardize the constitution, it pull the constitution, with this one back it can spoil. So it's like, I don't know who say really Sierra Leone with the go. We not get no place for go. So the only thing is, Fisi as a little boy, we at the talk in this program, only need for ask Sierra Leone, let we go on the kneel. Let we pray, let God really give you a divine insight how for really make a way forward in this nation. But if with the APC and the HLPP, Salone go no way. Because they all no get respect for the constitution. Anyone can bastardize the constitution I want. So no difference. So me look at us like, what if we say no more, Mr. Shillon? Now the best solution that APC and SLPP not really good for Australians. So now that one a new contribution. I thank you so much on a good work on they do. Let God give you a long life. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you calling, and feel free to call anytime in the future. Okay?
All right, sir. Thank you.
All right, Professor, going back to you, sir.
Thank you.
Say you get.
Yeah. Oh, we get more column here. That's right. They will come back after only one or two. The thing what they look for now is not just we now viewers no just sit down, get caught up in condemnation. No, not a real job that. When we do that, then we don't become part of the political process. And another young man you talk about, we on job now for be able for muster the courage of conviction and fortitude and honesty, for call the issue as and for the intellectual what they call a requirement or antecedent, whatever one call them. Always want to say we forgive credit where credit due and we for condemn when it's necessary. I don't say Sierra Leone also want begin go what you call renaissance or one get into the age of technology. For the very first time, we see a drone where they go deliver medicine. So sometimes go say in the beginning, but that in itself, that big thing and the mere fact. In order also to talk, we get people and we actually able to deliver. If only we able to get the political system where job within a man trouble, we get the rule of law, the work, we get with the whole everybody accountable, everybody in the whole accountable. I think so we able to do something. So I want to give me your take on this thing. We'll see this drone where see go supply medicine and so the cow see I work in America. It don't begin to work in Salone. Give me your take on this, sir.
Well, it's nothing new in the sense that Rwanda has had it in operation. In fact, it may very well be that's where it was copied from. It's been something the Rwandans have been doing. In fact, I'm glad you cite that example there because there are lots and lots of things we can learn from emerging African countries. Rwanda now one country. And let's remember, just about the time we get with civil war, Rwanda also get in civil war. Where we get about 250,000 people killed, Rwanda had about 1 million people killed. And their own war be based on tribal issues, the Hutsis and the Tutsis. And they've had one leader since the war has been over. But it's one of those unusual situations in which that leader there has been very steadily progressive. You know, first and foremost, he grabbed the bull by the horn and do away with tribalism in the country and make it a crime. Because before the war, now them overzealous politicians them create that sensitivity there in the two tribes that had lived side by side for a long time without seeing any difference among themselves. They live as neighbors. Then you get an orator of a politician who comes in and make people then begin and see what's different between them. You know Hutu, Mina Tutsi. So this leader come in, and anyway, eventually, and I'm Emmanuel. He was a soldier, partly trained at Fort Bragg in North Carolina too. But since he took over, anybody will go back, you follow Rwanda. The progress has been steady. First of all, the man has 50% female cabinet. So there is no question because he knows a woman can put and can make as much contribution to the society as men can. And then he is not driven. In fact, he has someone as young as 19 years old in cabinet because he believes in what you can contribute to the country, not whose university you go, not to whose kind of degree you hold. And his instincts have been so good. Rwanda has been steadily growing economically, socially. Tribes have been getting well along together. We even know say this was a country where the war was premised on tribal line. Compare we now, we are a country, and think of how far behind Rwanda was when we get independence. How far behind? They were so far behind you can't turn and see them. That's how far ahead we were. And this is a country now where they far ahead of we that if they turn around, they can't even see we in the rear view mirror. So now what happens? It's a good thing we don't bring this drone thing now, Sierra Leone, because I'm sure they got it for Rwanda, for land, how to do the delivery, for down the technology. And in Rwanda, is manned mostly by women, not even men, And so I am proud of it. Now the examples are there for the look, because there are some progressive African countries, like Namibia, like Rwanda, like Botswana. These are very, very impressive countries in all aspects. Politically, they get democracy. They see corruption, and then country, ministers and presidents, not get big houses. They get ex-presidents, Botswana, and they get a solid judiciary. Once upon a time, we former Chief Justice Leslie Luke, where we get good use for him. Then take him. He was Chief Justice until he died, and when he died, Botswana, and get a state funeral. That's how much respect they had for him. That's how talented this man was. So it's a move in the right direction. I'm glad to see that. We don't begin for copy something way progressive, because when you're able to take medication, and not for be medication alone, if for be male. If me in America, I'm a papa in a Patubu village, Salone district, Upper Bambara chiefdom, it would be nice if we rejuvenate the mailing system back home as it used to be. Because when I was growing up as a child, the Upper Bambara chiefdom, Salone district, me papa would order for clothes, shoes, hats from Leonard's, Langsfield, England. Then they mail them and they reach Pendembo. No problem. Would they get them? People over there, America in those days, in the 60s, then they write them people in a village, na Salone district. Then the postman, they send somebody in that village, they say, go tell Kini Bokari, go tell Kini Ansumana, say, a get letter from Pekina, America. That part of the community of that village can't get that letter there. We need for return to their old good days them. So this is good thing. So medication, Usa road no day. The drone is a good thing. Letter, Usa road no day for what they call. So this is a good start. This is impressive. And I wish the government can continue in that direction. The news and another one for Yeri, not to all this other thing about misappropriation of funds. I know it's tempting, but we should have more control over we safe what would rule the nation. So the main position, and I think it's an impressive thing, and I wish we can hear more and more of them today. And I think they compare from an African country, which is a good example because they get the best expertise because they're Africans just like we. So we get similarities, so it will work perfectly than if you copy that same thing there from America or from Germany, because the social structure different. What is considered village now go be a major town in Sierra Leone. So I like the example of the Rwanda and thing where sites. Thank you.
The president go na Kono. He go I think say for go fulfill one of his campaign promises them or pledges what it is. But of course, one thing about democracy also freedom of speech. It underwrites democracy. For example, President Thomas Jefferson, when have been the first Secretary of State or foreign minister in America, we be the third president of the United States say, he go prefer for them a country where no get government, but the people they free for talk, than for them a place where they get the government, people they know they talk. So we follow what happen at Konon, pluses and minuses. I want to let you give the viewers, family members, you take on the visit na Konon, what the president go do. We hear also that he was heckled and all that, and I mean, what do you make out of that? Because like I say, that's also a part of the democracy. Because the president will expect for let the whole of Kono go genuflect before him. No. If he expect that, then it must be a Rip Van Winkle with the sleep for 20 years, or he didn't know what to call Alice in Wonderland, then CND. But having said this, give me your take on this, sir.
Well, I see the video. In fact, I had to listen to it twice because I wasn't sure whether the president was being heckled, but indeed he was being heckled. For sure, he was being heckled. And the thing is, waiting me in position of that is simple. If we really believe in the principles of democracy and the practice of it, that is so insignificant that that should not stop the president. That should not. You cannot have thin skin and talk about you to practice democracy, because one of the fundamentals of democracy is free speech and the freedom to disagree. And one of the tests that a democracy will undergo, now the right of the ordinary man for heckle in leader without fear of being arrested. As I speak, I already say some people were being arrested. Again, I urge the lawyers then in that country today for start taking up their cases then they. The reason being, if people are being arrested because the heckle, I understand say a teacher was accused of having instigated the heckling. Well, wasn't that an exercise of his right? Even if he was the one who organized that? So again, we can't be putting all the laws there and they talk about democracy and we're not willing to practice it. And this is a problem with the international organization. They are not ignorant to them fact here. Therefore, they keep up with them here. But again, the president, I'm sure he had far more supporters than the one that will be Dede. We oppose them. But it was a good thing that the one that we oppose also were heard. In fact, I think it's beneficial to the president, because if he is serious about ruling, what he can do, he can try to find out what are people dissatisfied about. Why was he being heckled? Watching and then gripe, watching and then complain. That's why he's president. If you address the issue, but if you use power and you supporters them for ostracize the other people them, you are hurting yourself. Because so main thing is, I think President Bill should be proud, because I saw the video, and he tried for letting get an audience, for letting talk, even when they heckle, and I think I was proud of him as the president of Sierra Leone. That's good. That shouldn't take him off course. He went ahead, he gave speech, and he should know. In fact, I go ask for just show the public what happened in Kalam district. I go ask the control room for please play just a part of the video.
Action light.
one country. One country. Like no. All right. Now we see where the people and the president patiently. They say one country open and the people, the protests will subside, then they could talk. I commend them for that. You know, because, and if I were one of his advisors, I would have said, Mr. President, make that at the top of the thing. Say, hey, I'm glad you wanna come. I'm glad you wanna express yourself. This is what democracy is about. You know, I'm here to listen. And others come for talk to now. You know, use their own power towards them or against them, but not snub them. So I hope say the president don't feel offended by these people doing all these things. And I hope say supporters them also, or in aids them for learn from them here for say democracy is a hard system of government, you know. So, but wait up there and try for get them to be quiet and for go ahead and do and make in speech. I think that's a big plus for the president. So my thing is, I don't know how it all ended, but based upon what I see, I don't think the president should be offended. I don't think he should be disappointed because the turnout looked great. And so if he take the sensible approach, he can gain from that protest day than he will lose. Because people elect a leader who will listen to their complaints, not to a leader who will use power for oppress them so they not go talk. So if I have any advice to give the president, that's what I would say. I congratulate him. And also, I want people to realize also one more other thing. When we talk about President Bill, I consider President Bill, you know, I get a lot of pluses and minuses. So I don't want to go into, but he's made some pluses we'll give him credit for. He's made some tremendous, fundamental, impactful changes in Sierra Leone, where he ought to be given credit for. You know, I always say that. President Bill abolished the libel and seditious law, what they used for criminalize people in conduct and in speech. That law without day in existence when President Bill was about 4 or 5 years old. Presidents then come and go, but nobody felt the need to change it. Instead, in fact, people felt the need to abuse it and misuse it and use it to oppress free speech. This president come, he see the need for abolish that. He promised he would do it, and he do it. He deserves credit. He deserves tremendous, because that's a major change. He also abolished capital punishment for fall in line, which is, I think, is a very progressive move in Africa, because we still not even deal with sensitive subject like that. And me, as a lawyer, I'm one of those lawyers who believe that capital punishment, for a variety of reasons, is wrong, regardless of the egregiousness of the crime. So this man had the courage for change that. He is now dealing with this thing about Sierra Leoneans in the diaspora, for say we should have the right to compete and contest elections back home. So we just can't brush all of that up. These are things where other presidents did not do. So he deserves a lot of kudos. The thing I don't understand, he made all these giant leaps. Then when he comes on small leap, he not able. Because so he make President Bill take like 5 steps forward. Then for some reason he take 2 steps backward. So he's only at 3 steps when he had all gone as far as 5. So sometimes we're not lost sight of them here, because these are fundamental changes. And this very law with Lara-Pearce, like I said, he's just using it. He not to in parliament, not to him draft that law there. A law where you see political advantage, he just try to take on for his own benefit. So this goes for everybody. APC, SAPP, NGC, C4C, you name it. When I stop for make laws, of course, I can't blame NGC or C4C, but I'm just saying, when I go to have some of the parliamentarians, when I stop for support laws, where common sense tells me to say it go backfire, it go boomerang, it not good. It will come back to haunt you. We see what happened to Palo Conte. Lost the way they pass on the APC, come back for hunt him. You know? So if we're not to see all lynching in there, we want to continue the vicious cycle, that's fine. You know, or if you get caught up in the wrong side of the law, you go pay the price dearly. So in that sense, Professor, I think the Calown thing, me on take on it, I don't think it was such a bad thing. I think it was good for both sides, for the president and for the people.
Thank you. Now, the next thing I want to take you to, we discuss foreign affairs. One thing I don't see that the social media they hardly dwell on foreign affairs, and I must tell you, foreign affairs are an integral part of governance. There's no way we go separate foreign affairs from governance. People they seem to forget a very fundamental misconception of them. Either they not sabi them, they not relate to them, or they not go. So sometimes I can tell for mitigate, then kind of lapses in there. But every now and then it come bite we. So this thing in time they bring you in there for like your perspective about this. I'll sure say you will agree with me. Say we are a sovereign nation. We don't achieve statehood since April 27, 1961. I'm sure you agree with me.
Yes.
That we're a sovereign nation. Being a sovereign nation means there are certain things in there. Now we go determine that. I don't care whether we belong to international. Of course, we therefore belong to international organizations. And we cannot practice the politics of isolationism. No, we cannot. We therefore coexist. I make we get this multilateral, involvement, bilateral, multilateral. But in the course of, practicing the politics of multilateralism or bilateralism or anything, there also come what you call the sovereignty of the nation. Time and again, they read now places and walk here, they say, oh, well, the international community don't come. The international community don't say this. Oh, the international community don't say that. The international community don't say this. For example, the international community like EU, AU, and all that thing. But sometimes the fundamental question where I can get there, where I hope we will navigate me out of this, whether the international community is being very selective, whether they suffer from selective amnesia, and they suffer from that. And like I said, the fundamental question, all of these things are that they use this moral equivalence. The question, where are you all this time here? Are these guys telling us that all of these so-called infractions of principles, where they point out now, so were they not seeing it? Then or when they may see them, they may do anything? Because I can even give an example. A senior official of the United Nations at Salone was declared persona non grata. Then a diplomatic language that for say will expel you. A diplomatic language that the persona non grata. A senior official by by Koma administration, but not nothing. So why is it that every now and then, before you go the court side, the international community don't come, you don't say this? Now the disconnect. I want to help me give me the disconnect now. Waiting at the scene where they not been seen before. Why this tabernacle of blatant hypocrisy and Orwellian double standard? Please walk me out of this.
Well, we problem that Africa, a developing nation, is the inability for get leaders who know how to walk the terrain of international affairs. It is a very rough terrain, and it is very, very, very dangerous. Because when you begin conduct international affairs, you sitting with the big boys. And these big boys, if you don't know what you to do, they go eat you for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They make you forget the best and the brightest, and that comes from not academic achievement, but the academics has to be backed with experience and exposure. degree on paper alone is not good enough. So what is happening? The international organizations, they get their own self-interest for a variety of reasons, varying from military purpose to economic reason. So now everybody's looking out for himself. But when you come into that arena there, you get to be as sharp and as quick on your feet. I go use the boxing analogy. You're not going to be a lightweight. You want to go in a ring with a heavyweight. You might move quicker, but one slap will finish you. So when we grab with it, we want to go join the big boys. We further practice and practice and practice and understand all the nuances of the rules of the game before we get into the ring. Because once you get into the ring and once the bell is rung, it becomes a very serious matter. So with problem, when we see, sometimes the international organizations, they get their self-interest in the sense that they are financed by private organizations, multi-million-dollar organizations, multi-billion-dollar organizations. They get their own purpose. And one thing about international organizations, mostly, they are far more familiar with we and with country than we ourselves are. So they know exactly what they want. They know how to appeal to weaknesses. They know how to corral the favor of all the tribes. They know the tribal psychological profiles. These people study us. So because if you take, for example, why is it that now the international organization get for tell we say, hey, when I get too much traffic, the streets are congested. Can't we see it? I mean, can't we see that? We don't come abroad, we don't see all that here. Why people don't get for tell we? Why the international organization get for tell we say, oh, when I need better hospital. Oh, when I need better schools. When I need for open more schools. These are basic stuff that nobody needs to tell us. But yet they do. But they don't only tell us, they give us millions of dollars to do these things. And they see when they give them money out, they see how some of them money out would convert them into personal use. They are aware of it. But yet, they don't protest that. They give we more year after year after year, regardless of which government is in power, even if they know that government is extremely corrupt. Because this is how they get to manipulate us. When we leaders then go, because we leaders can't keep the money in Africa, and they can't hide them back to them people who already give them. Then people already give them. Yeah, America knows every leader, from President Putin in Russia to Chinese leaders. They know all the leaders outside the money there at the world, not to Salone leaders, then the money they're not going to know. So they get an advantage there over we. So when they need a favor, all they got to do is to say, President X, President Y, oh, how are you doing? How is life treating you? You've been doing a great job for your country, except for that 200 million where you get such and such and such. We'll know. But don't worry, we're not the talk about that. We just want to make you know, so we'll know about that. Then we'll move on. We need your favor. But what the man don't tell you, say, but you 200 million where you get such and such and so, who say you think you don't either? Whose favor you go ask you or you're not going to do? So this, they know with weakness. So the international organization then they for their own self-interest, and all this they forget strategic advantage in the world. But I don't say they don't care, because they are really trying. Now we not care for ourselves, the way I see it. And if we're not careful, we are repeating what our forefathers then do many years ago when we enslaved ourselves, will lead to the existence of Black Americans. Now, we remember, say, the white man no can wage war on we for bring Black people in the kind of America and the Americas. No, the white man just using common sense and the greed and selfishness of our people. They're noticing a weakness down there for tobacco, lily wine, lily salt. We sell ourselves in slavery. Now we're seeing a repeat of it. The only difference is we grandpa them. our our forefathers them were uneducated. They now be familiar with white man. They in fact they refer to white man as devil because of their skin color. They can't speak the language. But what excuse do we, where can I sit in a class, go to school with these people, join them profession, take the same exam, then we claim say we learn book like they do. Then they're able for use we for thief from we self, for can't get them for keep. And then with the claim say we are educated, we need to think twice. But now the new trend of slavery that in the take place. If we not watch out, how much debt we take from the Chinese them, if we not watch out how easy it is for letting the dango money to we, well, me what they talking now will not be alive. But 50 years from now, we will see dominance of another group in Africa and Australian, we will never ever imagine 50 years earlier. We need forget foresight. Mr. Kutubu talk about vision. Vision is necessary to rule a country. It's not all about money. The late president of Tanzania, Magufuli, a kind of power, for 5 years, in 5 years, he raised Tanzania from a poverty country, from a poor country, to a middle-class country. You know, put subways, airlines, all kind of thing without taking a single loan for any organization, not from the World Bank, not from the IMF, nowhere. Because they say they had it all, you know. And not travel out of the country, barely. It will go into like United Nations things then. But otherwise it was in the country most of the time, you know. They say Tanzania get enough resources for finance any kind of project, and it worked. Now Australia, we get far more than resources to finance anything. But for example, to me, an ambitious project will be railroad from Freetown to Penembu or Kailaon. Railroad from Konadugu to Pujem or Bonth, with a central station being in Bo. We are talking about building a bridge from Lunge to Freetown. It will cost 3 or 4 times more than what it would cost for build a railroad all over the country. Is that smart move? Is that being done with sincerity of purpose? Or is that being done because there is some hidden opportunity for those who are representing the government? Because $1.5 to $2 billion for one bridge in a country like Sierra Leone that barely has any industries, that barely has that many, other than Freetown, that much traffic. Think of what $2 billion could do. It go give you railroad east to west, north to south. It will finish all the connecting district highways them, will not finish that amount of money there. Well, one will spend on per one bridge. Well, hey, we need for call government on that. Let them explain that. How is that a sensible investment? When you look at the infrastructure within the country, you know, Kalaun district, Usa, I grew up partly. There's a town called Manoa, 7 miles from Penembu. Then still get a ferry that is, I think, a rope that you use for crossing. This bridge is not even a quarter mile long, maybe not even that long. This river, this is a river where they for not take care of long time. We not think but for do that for make place accessible to the people who live in that place. And we talk about a bridge for $1.5 to $2 billion. I will hope the president, they did not come up with that conversation day before, who felt it was unnecessary. And who is coming up with the $2 billion? China. And then they go collect the money. Aren't they the ones collecting this toll road money? So nothing seems to make sense to me. But again, we need to call the people their attention to it, let them see what's in the go on. Then the Chinese then go kind of build road for we. Then build a, let me say, $30 million road. Then until we say that they get the right for collect toll on the road for 20 years. Then in 3 years, they don't pull the money. So the rest of the 17 years, na profit to them. How does that make any sense? A toll road, not they employ that many people. So it's not like a toll road, they create great employment. No single toll, they take as many as 50 people for service the toll. But I will give them 100. While 100 number of people employed in a country, that's nothing. So it's time for we to begin to look at anything in this seriously. So that's all I have to say, Professor.
Like I said, now white cheese, cat cheese, goose, whatever that would depend there. The next thing I want to we listeners they are saying it now. How we go create a political climate in Salone where people go understand, say, power is derived from the people through the validity of the sanctity of the ballot box in an electoral exercise where totally unencumbered by infractions of principles or things that really negate, democracy. How we able to sensitize the psychological attitude of fellow Salonians, but especially within IR. So we on job now for 30 people that say we cannot spend all the time. Every day cannot be elections. There is time for elections. When elections come, we then move to the next phase of governance. We go to governance. In the course of we doing the governance, obviously, of course, we have to put the democratic structures in place, free speech and all that, and the right for protest. But even in the context of doing all that, we have to take into account the national order of the society, the safety of the society, the well-being of the society, but the way how democracy is being practiced at Salone, there is no way when we go sit down here, I talk, say, not when I in America, not when I know the assist by Bure where I don't in this country at the sea, go give credence to that. So, waiting at the way forward, how we go actually come up with democracy, for example, in a power no more we belong to me and you. We did not appeal not to the guy that we did it. So that then go lower the temperature because the temperature is too much. Too much. And this not go bode well for investment. Investors the way they call me and you wait for good day. Instead of go back to the country and all that. So how you look at this, and not make a short so that we'll touch with other issues then. So back to you.
Well, democracy not to a spectator sport. It's rough and tumble. People should know that. So those who are getting into it, they will understand, say, it can be rough and tough. So my response to that is, until we get to fundamentals in the law, fundamentals in coming up with sensitivity in terms of the well-being of the nation, unless we go back to the basics, which is the service to country, not service to you, not service to your family, not service to your constituency, not service to your country, to your district, not service to anybody but the country. And that service day forgets no tribal boundary. It should be for everybody. Until we rise to that level there and raise with consciousness to that level there, we are still in for a rough ride because most of us are not prepared. And those of us who are prepared, among us, a lot of us too are bent on misusing with people, with instrumentality like tribalism, for manipulate people, forget political support, And as long as we not take the time, we feel saying that for shortcut the process, we don't want to explain to people how it's not working in their favor, how if they can't give you 1 or 2 or 3 bags of rice, that no go feed you for the rest of your life, until we begin to understand that, it will be tough. So my advice is, let's get back to basics. Those of us who are entrusted with the responsibility of running affairs of the country, let's take the job seriously. Let's try to make meaningful changes that will help generations unborn. Thank you.
What you go out of a nation we get 7 rivers, 7 small country, but then water don't turn diamond and gold. What you will make out of that? What you see, and when are the problem under?
To me, the problem is easy to detect. Lack of creativity, lack of resourcefulness, again, the lack of foresight. Because Bob Marley say, in the midst of plenty, in the midst of water, the fool is thirsty. So we are in a country small and very minimally populated. Water not for be an issue, but we don't know how to preserve them. We don't know how to extract them. And the little what we get, if you go free Canada, you can see out and waste them. So what else can you say other than the fact that, because the ordinary man at the treat, and this is, you see, you got to deal with the whole thing holistically. Sierra Leone, we get a lot of what you would call tin houses, pan body. The pan body people, they don't get indoor plumbing. Then they wash them plates, now pump water, and they wash them clothes at the street pump. Then they take the shower and a net, they cut the pipe, and so you get government. These are the people that get, just natural human instinct. They get for wash, they go for eat from clean plates, then get for drink water. So then that's the wet net, then go, then do the thing. But we get government. Now government for start thinking about affordable housing. Now government get for start moving people in from poverty to a better way of life. But the thing is, we leaders are not thinking that way. All the people are within a bomb, all the people are within a bay, and there are many other poor people that are around. Some people and they live under bridges, then they build hosts, then they build band body, then they. Why is government allowing that? Why isn't government trying to build public housing? And why aren't the international organization giving funding? They don't need to give the funds, because if we know by now, we're going to end up building those for we safe. Why they don't go come and build the houses then for we? If they really want help, why don't they give politicians the money? People not get no business staying in the condition where they stay in a bomb, na bay, na them place then they Congo cross under the bridge, na St. John under the bridge. It's terrible, but we see that. So we are our worst enemies. Poor leadership. Now the only reason that I can give, when I say poor, I mean selfish leadership, short-sighted leadership, and uncaring leadership. Because if you care, you're going to be concerned. The ordinary man within a pan body, his needs are the same. You get for eat, you get for wash, you get for go to the toilet, you get for engage in normal human activities between the sexes. So the only difference, you get money pass and you live in a different place. So Creole man get a parable and say, "Host tight fall gole." So that person, no matter how he poor, he go find way for wash, he go find way for eat, he go find way for do a lot of things. But that's what government is all about. You look at the totality of the situation, and then that's a reach to public health. Because we will get small money, we can build a concrete house, we think say we're safe. No, because these people are everywhere around us. You see, so as a matter of public health, if we get with leaders them, people like Dr. Dembi, when a CDC man, if we know that, which I preach so, and I aim for the advocates then talk about public health. What about mental health? We'll get a video where we might show. There's a woman with a 2-year-old Bobo. I hope we will show that video there. And they will see how should that happen. How do we know that Bobo they not get the ability for be a nuclear scientist, a great lawyer, a great doctor, a great teacher, a great community organizer, but he will never achieve unless by some extraordinary blessing, he will never achieve that position there. Look at him. Look at the young man standing right by his mother, who I understand is about 2 years old, just standing there, and we have Department of Social Services. This is so unfair to the young boy. This is unfair to the mommy, because I don't know whether she has mental issues. She may. And the picture doesn't really reflect the whole thing, because now the host, it is so. Now the host that place who started picking it up now host one day. Yeah, I will be glad if the control room could just play a snippet of the video. We'll see the whole picture. We'll see how government need to be more responsible. And please, I don't want government to take this as a condemnation or a criticism. I'm just calling our attention that this is part of the responsibility of government. And we don't see some terrible things them about other people. Where one of them, the president happened to see the video, he immediately step in. But enough of be so. Forget the system in place. Where by the time the president see that, if we say, oh, Mr. President, we see that and they would not take care of him, let him be proud of his staff them. Yeah, so it would be great if control room can play just the video for we, if see more of this, who's at this woman tap.
Please, me fumble them, and allow we help for share this video for the sake of this young Popo angel. Wait, man, so this Popo is just 2-3 years old. 2 years old. My mama this, but I think their condition is not good. And they live in a new building, in a city, the side where they make. Now watch this Popo. It's not just small Popo, an angel. You understand? This is just they use it like a shield. You understand? For make money, which is bad. Government for intervene. Go we see. And this now slap to the government because now you building. This is totally risk. It is risky in life. This poor angel in life. Now you they sleep. Then it is risk in self your life. This now concern citizens they talk. Una help me share this video out, please. Let we see the government come in or other humanitarian organization and go come inside. How then go see try for help this family. Let them find way for this people. This now just picking way deserve for live like any other picking. Please, Papa government, they are the big. When I come to the aid of those people, you understand? This deciding a you building, we get different organization where they live now. You understand? Minister they pass here, honorables and they pass here, government representative and they pass here. Even I'm sure the president says they pass here. They live now this kind of side with this.
The American man can say a picture is worth 1,000 words. I think a video is worth 20,000 words. So the video speaks for itself. So I rest my case on that.
Thank you. What they can do, I will bring one more major topic. Then I don't know if Ms. Fatima again, if you go send, then that way after that we go you will give me your closing remarks. Except Ms. Fatima gets something after that because we get for come on time. The last thing we want to let you talk on that is the youth them na Salone we don't allow themselves for being misused, abused, and done. The youth in a Salone we fail for understand say they think anyway they do for the politicians. They're not all about not to just for the politicians across the board. Or then they send them now go do this. But then they fail for realize the one day when they send them, they your family members them. They live very ostentatious and opulent lifestyles there. They live good. Not like that but way they show so. And so they live. They want the way they good way saying they. We don't waiting for itself they don't get. All day they got your food and give them this. Because you don't bring that about in business there. How you go able to sensitize the psychological attitude of the youth and say, look, wait a minute. Una life worth personally when politicians they ask you for you go do anything. But then your family members, they picking, they auntie, they uncle, they brother, they sister, but na una they send it. How we able to try for convince the youth say, who side the minister they sit on, they say sit on there. The one way they serve as ambassadors, they serve as ambassadors, their life not better past them. So most of them here when they tell them, then they think twice. The great English philosopher than William Shakespeare, he say before you talk, he say think. Before you jump, you say look. So waiting at the advice you go give them the youth send a Salone. Waiting at the advice you go give them.
Well, Professor Kutubo, I have always taken the position that this is a thankless job and it's a tireless job. It's a commitment job. You cannot get tired, as hopeless as the situation might seem. It's an educational job. The youth, if you can convince people and the youth for say, listen, I'm not getting no political motive now. I'm not to run for any office. You talk like I they talk. Say what I call a gathering. And if you get money, you entertain them, give them food, this and that, and say, this is not for una young good. I just want to share my opinion with you. And you put them together and explain to them. You should not, you see, then show them. Because you see, one thing I like to point out, and I thank God for my experience upline and in the most remote part of the country. The vast majority of them were brothers, they will get power. APCO, SAPPO, they come up from extreme poverty. Just like some of them, the condition with this Bobo is so. These guys who now are acting as if they come out from. How many of you leaders then, when I see one day, brag of the background? There's a reason for that. How many of them did you hear talking about their humble beginning? They don't want people to know. But how many of them who brought they are? Well, today, they're not government. Then they didn't be lawyer, doctor, professors, successful businessmen. Hardly any. I went to school with these guys. So I know the background of a lot of them. How many of them grew up in a home that had indoor plumbing? Maybe over 95% of them. And they know it. They know I'm telling the truth. But now that they find themselves in a position of power, instead of looking back at them past and try for compare and put themselves in the position of people who are suffering now, for empathize, in English they say empathize, that we try to forget the Creole word, for put themselves in the place of say, 20, 25 years ago, now so in that background day, this boy in condition that they are come out. These guys are pretending like they all come out from royalties. They have no feelings, no concern, no commitment to helping the poor. Okay? We have to call these guys out. Because I know what I'm talking about. If anybody disagrees with me, they are welcome. Tell me that was not your background. I'm willing to bet 90% of who brothers them will be the rule APC. 90% of who brothers will be the rule when I SAPP now. 90% of the two previous APC and SAPP government, they came from extreme poverty. Poor. Do they care anything now? For the people that way coming on the same background there? No. They don't care. And that's what galls me. And I was a privileged kid. My father was considered to be very successful. I didn't have to go without me. I ate anytime I felt. Me not to be 3 times a day kid for eat. I eat whenever I feel for eat. I drink whenever I had access to cash. Okay? I had write me daddy in check at age 13. I had go deposit money in a bank for him. So I was privileged. But I still did not lose sight of the poor kids. Because I always wonder what will it be like if I was one, but for the grace of God, if I was one of those children. So I do not understand. In this day and age, our brothers and sisters, and we're in a position to make such a major difference in the lives of people who care so little, and money appropriated by foreign government, foreign organization, who uplift them people here. Would they take them money today? Would they divert them to William personal use? I think it's shameful. I think it's cruel. I think it's wicked. So there is a lot way in a win at the problem. But so if I'm talking to the youth, I will bring up all and talk there. I will tell them, say, even though you day to day, looking as you are, that man where they are at the top was once in the same position. If he can be reached there, you yourself can reach there. You know, but you will end your life, you're not going to be able to reach there if you go begin attack people and cause people and fed people for keep that man there and you picking and the wife and the family them up. Because you just like the man will hold the chief that they are mock. Why you yourself not go try for be the chief so they will carry you too? So let these guys fall by their own weight. So the youth, me own thing to them, stop being misused. I know it's not an easy thing to do because you look like this Bobo will just show so. If you grow up in a circumstance there, anybody can go to him when they become a teenager, say, look, 1 million Leone, go cause havoc. He doesn't have a job. In my government a problem, you know? And sometimes he not get passive. Sometimes he's the product of sexual abuse. We don't know. You know? So these are some of the things. So we should be concerned. We should love what people live. We were fortunate enough for seeing better days, have experienced better lives, for try for let the succeeding generations and even do better. You know? So if I have anything to do, I'll put aside politics. I will tell the youth, I have no political ambition. I'm just here to call the shots as they say it. Watch them politicians here. Not trust them. Trust them based upon what they do, not to what they come out of the mouth. You know? But I think it's wrong of any minister. It's wrong of any president. During your time in office, you get the audacity for engage in the display of a dispensation of wealth, building 2-3 houses, buying so many cars, having 10-15 girlfriends. Come on now. I mean, that's a gross insult to the intelligence of the people, you know. But we should really hold we leaders them accountable. That's what I would say, Professor, if I'm talking to the youth. There are a lot of things we can do, you know, but nobody is singing the song.
Okay. Hi. Thanks. I don't know if we get anybody on the line anymore, or whether we lead host Madam Fadima get anything for say.
If we don't have anybody, Professor, if I can interrupt you, if we don't have anybody before Madam Fadima might get something to say. I don't know.
That's exactly why they call for. Yes.
Yeah, but I just want to make a quick caveat. With the thing with Ms. Taylor-Pearce, I don't see it as a gender issue. I don't see it as a gender issue, but I'm all in favor of them supporting the fellow woman because it's good for politicians for no say there is backing, there is support, because it also influences policy. But to me, it's not a gender issue because although she is the boss lady, in assistant na a male. And if you take Ms. Pierce out of the situation, if not be the gentleman that be the Auditor General, this same gentleman when I assistant, Chamba, somebody I can't remember his other name, but if that be him be there in charge, and this same situation arose, the same everything would happen so will have happened, regardless of who that be the Auditor General, man or woman. So now the only reason that they make me think say it's not so much of a gender thing, but I'm in agreement to the woman, and it's time for them for draw the line. Because if they let it go past that, it will only get worse. Let them know there is support. Let them know the president is taking a great chance, and it will turn off a lot of women by trying to dispose of a competent Sierra Leonean. So that's one thing. Two, Ms. Fadima had talked about, they're not telling what you do wrong. In law, that's what we call due process. Of course, she has to know what she's been accused of. So there has been no due process, because due process, they put you on notice as to what you've been accused of. But this again, that's what I'm saying. So it's totally bad law. How you go suspend somebody before you tell them what you suspend them for? It makes no sense. It's like Standard 2 picking there, write some rules and regulation. And it's hard to believe. These are lawyers who come up with all these things, then say, you know, this is shameful. It's a bad reflection on the country. You know, you can't suspend somebody and say, well, I suspend you. I will tell you what to make I suspend you. That is a violation of due process. But again, we get a third arm of government, the judiciary. We get the civil society people there. Challenge them on constitutional issues. Take the matters to court. This is not a win or lose situation. When I just fought the battle, take it to court. You know, that's all you people got to do, and let the court and deal with the issue. You know, but you can't sit on the side and interpret. Nobody has the authority to interpret the law. The interpretation doesn't mean anything past the Supreme Court itself. So let's just try for deal with that. So Madam Fadima might get something. If Ms. Fadima, if you listen, you're welcome to come back on before we wrap up.
Day for us in Sierra Leone, not only for Sierra Leone women, but for the country as a whole. Today, we, the women and men of Sierra Leone, we're concerned about democracy. We're concerned about transparency and accountability. We're also concerned about inclusivity. We all then at this platform this evening, because na Sierra Leone, I know so some of una morning, some of una afternoon. But in all matter, we are all joined in one spirit as Sierra Leonean, both in and out of Sierra Leone, for speak to this very important issue. It's about Lara, but it's also about every other woman. Because what has happened to Lara is likely to happen to any other woman. And it has happened to women before. But maybe we didn't have this platform. We didn't have this opportunity for come together as we are now doing. So I hope that this is the beginning of many, many such platform demonstration. Whatever touches one woman touches not only women of Sierra Leone, but it touches the country. Therefore, I'm happy to be part of this platform. I have known Lara for many, many years. I was in Parliament for 15 years. My last 10 years in Parliament, I worked with Lara. I remember when there was a problem about her putting the audit report to the public. She was put under tremendous pressure not to put the Auditor General's report to the public until the Parliament has debated it. But being a Parliament that belongs not only to Sierra Leone, but to other parliaments, and working in the tandem of best practice, we were sure that the best practice was once the parliamentary report, the report has been laid to Parliament, it becomes a public report. Whether the Public Accounts Committee debates it or not, it becomes a public report. She stood her ground. I was the only woman in that room. You know, like all women, I kept on looking at her and she read my message. I didn't speak, but I continued to look at her, sending the message that don't give up, be strong, stay your course. If you believe in what you are doing, just believe it. Afterwards, we became best of friends. I have followed her. She's the second woman Auditor General in the country. The first woman was Madam Caesar, late Caesar. She worked very hard under her. You see, Lara has been very consistent. The same methodology she has used over the years to hold former governments accountable is the same methodology she has used. She has done her analysis and she has put out her reports out there. And what we expect is both past and present government to read the report, to take actions. Because what is surprising is that those findings of maybe 20 years ago, they are still very, very right, even in today, that means somewhere people are not listening, they are not taking the remedial actions that they are supposed to take to improve on the use of our finances in the country. I have worked with Lara, I have looked at her from afar. Lara is a cool individual, but she's a professional. She has impeccable character. That is why I identify with her. You know, he who feels it knows it. I was once in Lara's similar shoes. But because I believed in what I believed in, I stood my ground. And I prayed to my God. I put my God and my conscience first. So I'm happy today that all of us women, irrespective of political parties, men as well have joined this fight, this cause. We are watching very carefully and we are following the development. The lawyers have spoken. International organizations have spoken that we are not saying that Lara should not be investigated, but there is a process and the process has not been followed. The due process has not been followed. We are all very privy of the constitutional mandate of the remover of a judge, which is the same procedure that is being used. But there has been an outpouring of press releases condemning the process by no less a person than the highest international supreme audit bodies. So that means Lara has been consistent. We must give our supreme audit bodies the free hand to do their job, both in terms of moral support, financial support. They must have enough resources for them to do their job. And I am glad that if in the past government, the free hand was given to her to do her job, even to the extent to audit the Ebola funds, then we expect that the same methodology and the same principle should be used. We are calling on our government to ensure that the correct thing is done. The corona funds should be monitored, should be audited, just as in the past, this same government urged the past government to give free hand to the Auditor General to audit the Ebola funds, which she did. And we saw that those who were culpable did face the full effect of the law. I want to doff my hat to all women and men. I always say quality men are not afraid of quality women. Women are not here as an afterthought. We constitute 51% of the population. But it is sad that over the years, we have not been given the opportunity to exhibit our talents. We have a lot of experiences. And studies have shown that when you have more women CEOs at the helm of governance, you have improved accountability. You have improved integrity. And that means our resources are guarded. So it is a sad day for Sierra Leone. The day that we woke up, we were rudely awoken by the suspension of one of the most reputable women, professional woman of integrity in Sierra Leone and across the world. So I want to doff my hat to everybody. It is Lara today. It was Bernadette Lahai before. It is Lara today. It will be somebody else. But the good news is, if we stand by her today, then every woman is assured that we will be there for them in future. This is just the beginning of many of such activities and solidarity. So my message to Lara is, Lara, we stand with you, we stand by you. We have faith in you. Be strong. God is your fortress. God is your refuge. The Lord look at the heart. The God says, vengeance is mine. We are with you. We believe in you. And at the end of the day, you will be victorious. Whether you keep this job or not, one thing I know, you will always hold your head high up, because during your sojourn, you did everything you could as is expected of you. You walk the walk, you talk the talk. You have looked after our economy, and you have genuinely put out the audit report with no malice, but with the best of professionalism. We are yet to have an Auditor General of your type, not only in Sierra Leone, but all the world over. So, my sisters and brothers, this is just the beginning of many fights. This online demonstration should go beyond the virtual. We should also, in physical way, also try to ensure that we have similar of such action. I want to call on all women's group, all male group, all human rights group, all well-meaning Sierra Leonean, after this virtual, that we come together, we who are physically on the ground, to continue to put the pressure and to continue to stand with her and by her. I want to thank everybody. This was a very short notice, but I'm very glad of the number of people who are online and who are struggling to join this protest. A new dawn has come to Sierra Leone. I thank you, and a luta continua. Thank you very much.
Wow. Madam, everybody for raise. Everybody for raise, because Madam Frances, I am in tears. I get goosebumps.
Me too.
This is a true Sierra Leonean speaking. And now they look for color, and they look for the truth, and they look for the growth. I am in tears. I cannot stop.
I got goosebumps too. I did too.
I did. From our heart, and it is coming through. And now look, he said, I was in the room one time with her when it is struggled for present. And he said, I could not say much, but I looked at her and I said, I am with you. She understood what I was saying. Sometimes you don't have to say the words. But this is Sierra Leone business. This is how they don't take women them. And she said, and I quote her, it is a sad day in Sierra Leone when they woke up to this news. November 8th, 2021. It is a sad day indeed in Sierra Leone. This is the reason why we didn't have. Madam Frances, what did you get from her speech? Because we can't give the people a chance again for that. But I'm telling you, I am still in goosebumps, and in my heart, I salute to the courage and to the resilience of this woman. Thank you so much, my sister. What do you say? What do you think about this?
Mr. Shilon?
Yes, sir.
No, no. Give me closing. No, give me closing remarks now. Give me closing remarks.
Well, basically, I don't have any. I just wanted to say that was our own Fadima Savage. So
okay.
I understand there is one caller on the line, but we don't have to take that. But I don't get any closing remarks. I have said
okay, if you don't get any closing remarks, give the caller, give another opportunity. If you don't get closing remarks, but that will be the last call. If you don't get closing remarks.
Hello, caller.
Yes.
What's your name and where you come from?
Yes, caller. Okay. Una thank you all the panel them. Una all they do well. Una all they strive hard for how we country go before. So una thank you, and this is a concerned citizen from New York again. That woman they not to one sector get that woman they now all the Sierra Leonean they get that woman they whether na woman them back, picking them back, you know, and kind again now the mayor who we get now the whole country now in get them. Anybody will get potential where they contribute to the society they we all for honor them. But me nothing like for Yeri for say woman group this and that because we don't get strong men then at Salone where they don't kill both parties, SLPP, APC. We get people and then are up to now they're not able to go back again. Don't they wouldn't kill them that didn't. Strong men, you know, outstanding men, but then kill them just because of their own belief, just because they don't want corruption. Then boku tete them boku. Countless we then lose and life them just because of them get different opinion. And me a man I need a support because I want to talk waiting the breeze they flow out. They talk for myself and I get right for exercise my own opinion, you know. So if you get your own opinion, that's okay. Well, group in the way you not line up with their own opinion and begin to say you're not that or we not this, we not that. I don't care for that. Then they know your own business that one day. But waiting, hence you the kind of public place, people and get for talk and you get for accept public opinion. Probably with that public opinion, they be able, you know, shape your agenda which you to run. You see, so now you don't take that one day, now distinguished woman, now respectable woman, and kind back again, now the mayor will get. That mayor there, they see, they take broom, they sweep. Now the road of Freetown. I can't even believe it. I can't believe it. You see, so now such people them all we want. So let them not just try for drum one place. This now the country in property. Now the country get them. Pekino, big person, old person, all man for tie in middle and say we want justice. So now me won't take them one day. Wanna thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Well, I appreciate you calling, and thank you very much to all the listeners there. Please tune in next time, participate. I hope when I do enjoy this show, make a turn over to Professor Kutubu.
By God power, we'll come back next Sunday, and there's a possibility that we will get the Minister of Information for let himself can throw in own light, the government in own light on this, because we too don't get, you know, I mean, it's just this like one way. One thing about democracy, you get for hear from both sides. We don't hear from the public. Also get for coming hearing from the government, which are their own rationale by God power. They work very seriously on that. So I'll be able to bring an but assuming I'll even bring an I'll go see we will bring an you know, social media where everybody go hearing by God power. This is how they work through. So until we come back next Sunday, I commit to all to the one way they prevent we all from follow enough for them, and where they make we don't want in care, immortal, invisible, the only ones God Jehovah, or all the honor and glory. The Yakna Budu Yakna sign. At the handover of the autumn until come back next Sunday. This is Kutubu on behalf of all, you know, the staff of US television.
Where I begin to connect, I so now all the lights now when you at the fourth flight at Salone with the cargo medicine. The first thing they apply any at Salone. Now my band really. So I want to know that clap the drone clap for that drone where the land with medicine. And Rotiko will pull that medicine in and they don't safely reach Naya. Medicine 9 days inside it. And now the nurse, they go collect the medicine. We don't come on the sky for reach to win. Again, this not so by magic. This 2 years ago, President Bio launched the corridor. Inside that 2 years there, we don't collaborate with all them people that we are talking about. And inside that 2 years there, now we're able to fly for make me this car happy now. So Raki, I can wait till the chief come and then we several candidate then the North Show, yeah.